Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run, where we take two random characters, combine them using the GMO mod, grab a random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with the resulting monstrosity. Hope you're all doing well. As always, of course, we're picking our characters using the wheel, so let's see what we get. This is my, third attempt so far at recording this video, because I've gotten a couple completely non-functional combos in a row, like combos that literally don't work in the mod. But we've got the Masochist, and let's see what we're combining with that. We have the Apprentice. Okay, Masochist Apprentice. So we're going to be losing health, but gaining damage. And we have to take damage in order to deal damage. So that's going to be really interesting. So let's see. I need to find the characters first. Always the real final boss here is me hunting down these characters in this list that I've looked at a million times. It took me an embarrassingly long time to find the Masochist, so I cut that part. And then we're going to roll here, and we've got Taser as our weapon. Not a great weapon, because it's just low base damage, but we should be able to gain damage over time, and at least it gives us some defensive ability to slow enemies, and some economy stats aren't bad either. So I'm going to try to take as many hits as possible. I want to build up enough percent damage that we can maybe kill the tree here, because Taser's a super slow firing weapon, so combined with its low initial damage, since we're playing the Masochist, I needed to try to boost its damage to kill the tree. I'm gonna lock, obviously by the Taser, that gives us the support weapon tag. So just to remind you how these characters work, the Apprentice loses 2 HP every level, but gains 1 of each type of damage and 2 melee damage. The Masochist starts with extra HP regen and armor, but minus 100% damage, and then gains damage whenever we take damage. So if you take 20 hits, you do the same damage as a normal character. Past that, everything's profit. I'm going to leave the Lost Duck in, even though we have elemental damage as our main damage type. This is a good item, but I don't think it's worth locking. So I'm going to roll here. I'll definitely lock a Scared Sausage. Awesome, of course, if we're doing elemental damage. And then we're going to roll again. Baby Elephant, I generally am not impressed with on the Masochist, even though we're going to be doing random damage around the map. But it is a fun item, so I'm going to leave it in just for fun. We'll buy the Fertilizer here. I'm going to buy Fertilizer over trying to roll and lock another Taser, both because we weren't close to locking another Taser. Like, you saw how many rerolls we did without seeing one, and because the extra harvesting is really helpful early. And try to find enemies that do 1 damage, and then we can take as many hits from those as possible to boost my weapon damage and at least make some money this wave. My brutally low attack speed is the real problem here. I think we should be able to kill that tree. Yeah, okay, we got the tree. We got a level, so we got a bunch of stats and lost some stats, but that's okay. I'm going to need to find HP soon as well, but I think we can reroll at least once. I'll reroll again. I'm looking for harvesting. Missed twice, so I'll take some luck, and then here we'll take some harvesting. We don't need to buy elemental damage, like base elemental damage. That will come from our elemental weapon tag, assuming we ever find another Taser. Okay, finally. I was getting pretty scared there. We're really behind because I rolled a lot for Tasers. But that will come from being the Apprentice and having elemental as our weapon tag. If I don't find some more armor and regen soon, though, we're gonna quickly run out of the ability to actually kill stuff, because I only have 3 weapons at this point, and that is really slowing down our clear speed. Fortunately, I do at least have a lot of harvesting. I'll take the campfire. Lower speed is bad on the Masochist, because you need to be fast to get up to where enemies are. But the elemental damage and regen are incredible. We'll take some luck here. I'm going to reroll, and I'll reroll again. I missed a bunch. I'm just going to take 3 HP. I really need to boost my HP, because we're losing that every level. With the Apprentice, you still gain the normal 1 health that you get every level, but then you lose 2. So each time you level up, you lose 1 health. So you just have to take max HP when you see it. We did get lucky there and get 2 Tasers in the same shop. That was huge for us. Now we actually have 5 weapons, which also with the support weapon tag, of course you want to get more weapons very quickly because they give you harvesting. Needed to build some Masochist damage before the Lamprey showed up as well, so that we were able to actually kill that pretty high health enemy. But now that I have a level 2 taser, which fires multiple shots, and a lot more damage output, of course, because we're the Apprentice, we're in better shape at this point. I'm going to take 8 more harvesting. I think that's fine. And then 8% damage. The more percent damage you take on the Masochist, the fewer hits you have to take to get to a normal amount of damage output. Sharp Bullet is an amazing find on the taser. It's a weapon that doesn't naturally pierce and really needs it, so we're very happy to see that. But I'm going to buy the other taser first. I'm also going to ban sunglasses. Normally, I don't like banning level 2 items, because banning level 1 or level 3 are more impactful. But we haven't used any of our bans yet, so I just want to make sure I'm using those. I'm also going to reroll again, looking for a taser. I missed. I will buy the jelly. Yes, it's fairly inefficient, but this character just has to buy all the HP that we can. Trying to take hits from the weaker enemies, of course. But we need to take enough hits that we can actually do damage. But not so many that we die. Having high luck and consumable healing is very helpful for this character as well. Then we can run into groups of enemies and get some burst healing. Especially once I get the piercing shots, so that we'll be able to deal a little more damage reliably in these big groups of enemies. I'll take 15 luck here, and then... I would love to take flamethrower, but this is a random weapon challenge, so we are, of course, not allowed. Let's reroll. Crit chance, useless to the taser, basically. Well, actually, we have okay base damage, so maybe the tentacle wouldn't be bad. Broken mouth, obviously, we want. Tentacle I'm going to leave in the pool, but I'm not going to buy it yet. I will buy duct tape, although we're losing HP. Armor still incredibly important. And then I'm going to ban out the claw tree. Injection, I think I will lock as well. And then we'll roll once again. I want to see if I can find more tasers, which we missed on. The minus 2 HP for the injection is obviously bad for this character that's losing max HP, but you can also think of it as kind of increasing our HP, because the injection is slightly more than 1 hit per wave that we don't have to take, which means effectively more HP that we have to work with, even though it costs us HP on paper. Take the whistle here, that's going to be really good. I need movement speed, so I got to take that, and then I will roll. And then 2 armor, super important to get extra armor. I also really want attack speed, but armor is indispensable on the Masochist, of course, because you have to take hits. You want those hits to be as small as possible. To buy all these items, Weird Ghost. We have 21 regen. We need HP. I think we can get away with the Weird Ghost, so I will buy it. I will buy the Snowball as well. Do I want to level the Taser first or buy Snowball? I guess I'll just buy the Snowball, lock the Taser, and then I'm going to roll past the Blindfold here. We'll lock a Fuel Tank. Although buying elemental damage when we're the Apprentice is kind of silly. Spending 80 on this, I think I should just buy defensive stats, actually. So I'm going to roll past both of these items. I'll lock the Bait, and Celery Tea is going to be pretty good as well, so we'll lock that. So obviously, we're not going to be able to kill anything for the start of this wave, although surprisingly, my weapons do 3 damage, because I've bought a decent amount of percent damage already. Cursed enemies do change the equation a little bit for the Masochist, because they hit really hard, so it just makes it harder to tank hits. So I'm trying to take a few hits here and there, build up enough damage that we can clear some enemies. But I'm trying to be careful of not running into too many high damage enemies like the Walrus or the Cursed enemies as well. I would love to get a Snake That would be massive for spreading fire from this scared sausage, which right now is not being that efficient for us. But at least we're still clearing enemies. We made okay money, and I got the HP. We'll take the mushroom here. Here I'm gonna roll. I could take percent damage, but I really do want to just get a little more base max HP. While it is true that max HP, having more damage is sort of like having more HP on this character, that is not entirely true. You do still just need enough max HP that you don't die. Mutation, I'm going to pass on. In fact, I'm going to ban the bat and the glasses here. Finally use our bans. Mutation I'll leave in the pool because we might want it later, but I'm going to pass on it for now. And then I will lock the fishhook, I will buy the head injury, and I will lock the injection. Ghost outfit we're going to skip, but I'm not going to waste a ban on it. I'd rather just ban level 1 items here. I'm being a little more conservative with my bans because we had kind of a weird start to this run where we didn't use our bans. So I'm going to try to ban specific items to make like the level 1 items that we want more likely to show up. Going to take a few hits here and there, and remember this is a celery tea wave with a bait. So we're going to not kill a lot of stuff this wave probably, just because my percent damage started really low and we're having trouble maintaining our max HP, or maintaining our current HP rather. But once I get a decent amount of damage output, it should still be reasonable. Just gonna take a few more hits and try to set this group of enemies on fire at least a little bit, using the piercing shots from our tasers. But we're mostly going to be relying on our harvesting this wave for income, which is fine because we'll get a lot of levels out of that. Boxing glove, I'm going to ban. The knockback, actually, I'll take it. The knockback is good with taser, so we'll take that item. And then we're going to roll here and roll again. I'll take some attack speed, which we currently have none of and desperately need. I'll take fishhook, corrupted shard, and injection. And because it comes with a free reroll, although buying elemental damage isn't that useful when we're getting it so quickly for free from the Apprentice, it is still nice to boost it, so I'll take that. I'll ban Mastery, we're never buying that item. Bone Dice we're also never buying because losing HP is pretty bad for this character, of course. Clockwork Wasp I might buy, so I'll leave it in the pool, and then let's ban the Butterfly and the book, and a lock jelly, again expensive but still good. Spyglass, we are not a high enough economy run to make Spyglass work. Okay, but we rolled into blood donation, which is exactly the item that you want when you're playing the Masochist. When you take 1 damage every second, that boosts your damage by 5% every second, so it makes it so much easier to play the Masochist. Not to mention, it's going to give us a lot of economy from the harvesting. When you get a damage over time item on the Masochist, it completely changes the way that you can play. You can now try to avoid taking hits from enemies instead of just running blithely into them. It just gives you a lot more options, and also, of course, is very powerful. Still losing health, so I do need to boost my max health a little more, especially before we fight an elite. Other than that, I'd say we're in very good shape, which is always the way of the Apprentice. You're always going to be in good shape with your economy stats, because you gain them for free, you gain damage for free, but you're going to need max HP because you lose it. Here I could take 3 regen or 4 or 3 lifesteal. I think I'm going to reroll, though. I feel like we can do better than either of these upgrades. I'll take some luck here, and then... So, dodge is interesting on the Masochist. You might think you don't want it, but the way that running into groups of enemies to take damage on purpose works, if you get the dodge, you'll just get hit by the next enemy anyways, and dodge gives you a lot of extra defensive stats when you are trying to survive. That said, 12 dodge is still not good enough to take over 3 armor. It's really only 8 dodge because we have -4 dodge, and 3 armor is such an extremely valuable upgrade that we're always going to take that there. But I think it is worth mentioning that the dodge is not as bad as you might think. We're gonna definitely take Alien Worm. I need more max HP. My consumable healing is really good. Take the Ice Cube. I'll leave the Leather Vest locked for one more round, but we do want the Leather Vest. I have a Scared Sausage, so I'll buy the Landmines to spread fire a little more. We'll buy the Eye Surgery as well. Toxic Sludge, I think we're gonna pass on. I just, again, don't really need to buy damage when we're playing the Apprentice. We just get that for free. I need to focus on defensive stats. So I took a bunch of hits here, but we can then heal back up and let the blood donation keep stacking our damage over the wave. Blood donation and similar items, or blood donation or bloody hand, also make elite a lot easier to fight on the Masochist, because usually the issue for this character against elites is that elites do a lot of damage. So if you take a hit on purpose to boost your damage against them, that hit's going to be really hard. But when you have blood donation, you just don't need to take hits from the elite and can still stack up damage against them. And as that damage continues to stack up, you can kill the elite much more easily. Here I could take 4 elemental damage, and I guess I will. It's a level 4 upgrade, so it's hard to pass on that. And then I'm going to roll for max health, and we will take 9 max health. We're going to... Oh, nice. We got the Cursed Eye Surgery. That's great. I'll buy the Leather Vest as well. We'll re-roll here. Cursed Nuke Launcher. You know what? I think we've proved, honestly, at this point, that this is a winnable run. Let's have fun. We're going to buy a Cursed Nuke Launcher. And we're going to roll again. We'll lock an Eye Surgery. We'll buy a Penguin. We'll roll again. And since we're doing that, I'm just going to lock the Thunder Sword as well. We'll go with kind of a goofier weapon set this run. Now that we have the blood donation, this run is guaranteed. You know, I could walk into 200 attacks and die immediately, but... as long as I find any maximum health, we have so much armor and regen naturally from playing the Masochist. We're getting damage for free from the Apprentice. It's just not really realistic for me to lose this run. So I'm going to buy the goofy fun items. You know, one thing that I prefer not to do is pretend to you guys when, you know, go like, oh no, we're doomed in this run, when it's a run that I just need to execute. Not my style of commentary. I'm gonna recycle the hedgehog. It doesn't do anything for us. We'll take baby squid here, and we'll take some more regen. And ooh, nice. That's a lot of cursed items. The fishhook pulling its weight. Really, the fishhook approving of my choice to lean into the fun items. So we're gonna combine to a level 3 taser. We'll buy the nuke launcher. We'll buy the eye surgery, and we'll keep the thunder sword locked and roll. We have a nuke launcher. Let's lock the plastic explosive and the tree, and I'll roll again. And I'll lock black belt. We can maybe get that cursed. So what you want to do, of course, as the Masochist against the elites is go take hits from other enemies to increase your damage output. So we take a few hits from other enemies, and then we can focus our damage against the elite. And yeah, obviously we're killing the elite faster because we have the cursed nuke launcher, but even without it, you can see how that was just going to be a dead easy wave. Robot arm, I'm going to recycle. Of course, we don't want to lose max HP. We don't really benefit from those stats. I'll take the cute monkey. Yes, it costs me range damage, but we're getting range damage anyways, so our nuke launcher will be just fine. And here I'm going to re-roll. Again, I'm just looking for max health, or we'll take some armor as well. I'll take some attack speed that we want also. Sadly, none of them got cursed this time. That's okay. Let's go ahead and combine. We'll buy a Thunder Sword. I will just buy all of these items and then re-roll, and then we'll lock a couple more, do a re-roll because we have Fishhook. Ooh, nice. We can get a Cursed Crown, hopefully, and become the King of Brotato. It's funny, on the subject of not wanting to, like, pretend that a run is more difficult than it is and stuff like that. I feel like there's a huge genre of, like, YouTube entertainment that is based on people pretending to be either much better or much worse at video games than they are. And it's really interesting that both of those styles thrive. Like, you get a lot of, you know, very carefully curated compilations and, like, frag videos and stuff that show off a player's skills much more favorably than if you saw the footage, you know, unedited. But you also get a lot of people doing, like, sort of staged live stream fails where they get themselves stuck in a hole or do something goofy, and it's clearly on purpose, but everyone's like, whoa, this person's so dumb. Both of those types of things are, it's really interesting to me that is such a powerful draw for people. Candy bag I will definitely take here. This is a really nice item for us. I'm really curious. I still have never seen the chance to spawn in Elite actually happen. So I'm hoping that someday it does. And then we'll roll here and we'll take some more max HP. We're going to buy our cursed item. We'll take a Bean Teacher as well, and the Penguin. Toolbox, we still don't really have a use for elemental damage, so let's roll. Cursed Fruit Basket is an awesome find, so we'll take that, and then we'll lock these items and roll again, and I guess I'll just lock this whole shop. Pretty good shop. Gonna try to take hits on purpose, but honestly, our damage output is high enough that we're kind of having a hard time getting enemies close enough to do damage to us. I still don't really want to take hits from the Elite. We only have 50 HP, so while it is, you know, not that dangerous to us, I don't want to throw the run by just walking into 20 attacks from the Elite and dying. And this is a pufferfish wave, so we could spike a huge amount of incoming damage if we get one of the bugged pufferfish attacks. Yeah, I'm curious still. I've been walking into the cursed pufferfish attacks to try to recreate that bug. I've never seen that bug since it happened that one time where we took 60 damage from a pufferfish, and I had to do, like, forensics to find out what had actually happened and why we died. Oh, the perfect item! 69 harvesting! Let's go! Yeah, I mean, obviously, that is the ideal item here. You can just add that, you know, if Evil Empire wanted to give me an in-game item, they could just add that. We'll lock the lantern here, and I actually have okay crit chance. Let's buy Hunting Trophy just for fun. We'll see how much value we get out of it, and then we'll roll. We'll lock a Tardigrade as well. Oh, no, wait, we have a blood donation, so no point in taking Tardigrade. Tardigrade's okay on the Apprentice, typically, because you're very low health, so preventing incoming damage can be pretty good. For most characters, it's not a good item. Unless you're playing Endless Mode, obviously, where it's critical. Because preventing the first damage is the least important damage that you could prevent. If Tardigrade worked... I think an easy fix to make Tardigrade more interesting in level 20 runs, while still keeping it key for Endless, would be to make it prevent the last damage. Like, it prevents one instance of lethal damage, rather than preventing the first damage that you take in a wave. I think that would be a very clean change to the item that would make it much more interesting for level 20 runs for characters that were worse at defending themselves. And that would still work identically in Endless Mode, because when all damage is lethal, the Tardigrade would still just always be preventing the first damage that you took. It also would prevent it from being eaten by Blood Donation and Bloody Hand, which is an irritating bit of anti-synergy that I don't think is necessary for the balance of those items or anything. So that would be a change that I would suggest for Tardigrade. Gonna walk into the Elite a couple times, take some damage on purpose. Plus, honestly, I think it would feel more fun to play with there, because you would get the really exciting moment of, oh no, I'm gonna die, oh no, wait, the Tardigrade saved me. Much more than, oops, lost my Tardigrade at the beginning of a wave where you walked into an enemy. So it would be more resonant for the player. Maybe there's a good reason not to do it that way. Obviously, I'm not a game designer and I don't know the code base, but that would be how I would alter the item. Estes Couch, we could take, actually. We could get a lot of regen here. So right now we have positive move speed, but this would give me minus 20 move speed because it's a cursed Estes Couch. Let's try that. We're going to go up to 137 regen. We're going to slow our move speed massively, and we're going to use Estes Couch to to just make ourselves impossible to kill, which should be very funny. Take the missile. I'm going to take the cursed torch as well. Let's combine like this just to make sure. It shouldn't, by default, combine your two cursed items. It should always combine the cursed and the non-cursed there, but just to be safe, I prefer to do that manually. And then we're going to roll. We'll lock the metal. We'll lock the energy bracelet and roll again. And Ugly Tooth we can pass on. I'm going to roll again. I don't need the Blood Leech now because, you know, we've got... oh, actually, do I want the metal? I guess I should still take metal. It will cost me a ton of regen because of the Estes Couch gaining movement speed. You know what? We're doing an Estes Couch build, so I'm going to pass on the metal, even though it would probably be better to take it. When you're doing an Estes Couch build, it's more fun just to reduce your regeneration. So here I'm just going to try to like stand in the Elite, take hits as the Masochist. We're just doing the never move and take hits as they come. The Homer Simpson strategy. Sure, we'll take the extra stomach. We'll probably get only a couple points of HP out of it next wave, but still seems nice to have. And then we will roll here. A Cursed Icicle is kind of a fun addition as well. We can get another Cursed Elemental weapon. Now that we've kind of broken the floodgates on buying non-taser weapons, I'm just buying all the fun weapons that show up. We're not going to buy the knot, of course. We're going to roll here and roll again. And plank doesn't count as a fun weapon. I'm just going to re-roll past all that stuff. We'll take the bait here, and I'll roll again. Nothing else here I really want. One challenge is that we don't have increased pickup radius, and we don't have baby geckos or anything. So we're really slow, and we're trying to ooze our way around the field, picking up these materials. We're basically role-playing my cat eating dust off the floor. Okay. I mean, we have burning damage. We'll take the Greek fire for sure. We'll take the cursed item here. That's great. Oh yeah, we have a snowball. Have we gotten any value off the snowball? Okay, 5 damage. That's not bad. Oh, I almost hit restart there. Came very close. We're actually at positive percent damage here, and then we've got 5 crit chance. We'll level our torch. Triangle of Power. So this I want to talk about specifically for the Masochist. People often ask, why don't you buy Triangle of Power? You still gain damage when you're playing the Masochist, but you gain less damage than you would normally. So the Masochist, so Triangle of Power gives you 20% damage, right? Which normally requires 4 hits for the Masochist to gain 20% damage. But it basically changes you to getting 20%, changes the Masochist's damage from the Masochist's penalty. From minus 100% damage and you gain 5 whenever you take damage, to minus 80% damage and you gain 3 whenever you take damage. And you can see how that's not profitable. So Triangle of Power is still a bad item on the Masochist because you deliberately want to take hits. And since you're going to take more than 10 hits in a wave in order to make the Masochist good, the Triangle of Power is always going to be negative damage for you. I'm going to take the mushroom just for fun because we're now at 150 regen, and yeah, let's take a stone skin as well. We have 120 HP. You know, roll past all this stuff. We'll take a scared sausage. We do have burning damage, and then we'll roll. I'm looking just for fun items to kill the elites with a little faster. A roll here. You know what? Let's take a cursed lost duck. Just more cursed items, and then we will go to wave 20. Gonna walk into the elite and hold still. And then we will walk into the elite and hold still. We're just gonna stand still menacingly. And the elites will run away. Or rather, they will die. Alright, so that worked out really well. Obviously, this combination is 2 really strong characters that do synergize fairly well. Although the Apprentice reduces your damage, or reduces your HP, they both give you so much damage, it's just going to make up for that pretty quickly. So we ended up with a very, very powerful run on this one. Taking a look at our items, 60k damage from Scared Sausage, is not bad. 300 materials from Bag. 5 damage from the Snowball. Celery Tea for 65 XP was fine. The Ice Cube was good. Actually dealt 4.5k damage on the landmines, which is not bad at all. Double eye surgery. So this is why our Scared Sausage did so much damage. Normally it wouldn't, but we had double cursed eye surgery. So our burning damage was activating more than 50% faster, or more than twice as fast. Because I believe the way eye surgery works is by decreasing the increment. So it's actually by saying it activates 33% faster, what that means is it's reducing the time between increments by 33%. So when you have 2 of these, this is actually doubling the speed at which burning damage happens. I believe that's the case. Feel free to correct me in the comments. Crown, we are gaining a lot of harvesting, of course. We got the Cursed Crown and got to 567 harvesting. We also, of course, did not see an extra elite spawn from the candy bag. I am still thinking that this item might be broken and not spawn elites. Obviously, a 10% chance is a small chance, so it's totally reasonable that I haven't seen one, but it does seem like I would have seen one by now from this item, especially because I've had it in endless mode runs and stuff. So it might be worth taking a look to see if this item is bugged, or let me know if you've seen extra elite spawn from this item. And then the fruit basket gave us 48 extra fruits. Amazing. Hunting trophy did not pay for itself. We didn't end up with enough crit damage for that to do anything, but we got 24 regen from the baby squid, and Estes couch was giving us extra 80 regen. We actually got the full value out of extra stomach, and then did 20k damage with the Greek fire as well. Alright, my friends, hope you've enjoyed this run, and of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, my friends. I'll catch you next time.